Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today we're going to do some maintenance on my 75-gallon aquarium that utilizes primarily sand as a substrate, and is stocked with a bunch of odds and ends of fish from around the fish room. And I thought that while we did maintenance on this tank today, we would talk about that and how the tank is doing, of course, but also talk a little bit about winter preparedness, as at least where I live, it's gotten really cold and the winter storms are about to happen, which can often result in power outages. Now, while my application is different from many of you because I have so many aquariums, if you only have a few, there's a few things you can do. So let's get started with some maintenance, take a look at this tank, and just talk more about it. All in all, this aquarium is doing really well. It does have some hair algae, so I take a bottle brush and just swirl it through to capture the hair algae and pull it out of the plants. I find this to be the easiest way to do so, to remove it from my plants. Even mosses, as you just swirl it, and because the bottle brush is kind of rigid, it just pulls the hair algae right out of it. And I twirl it as I'm doing so. And I usually start my maintenance in this aquarium by doing so. Now there is some sort of nutrient imbalance in this aquarium. Either it is from the lights or from the lack of nutrients that causes this algae to sort of take hold. We are going to be changing the lights in this aquarium soon. But for now, I am just doing some preemptive algae removal. I find it to be the best way to sort of deal with this issue if I'm not prepared to alter my nutrient load or run CO2. And again, it's pretty minor. Now this aquarium is filtered with a sponge filter, and then it has a power head just for some directional flow, as I found that dust was accumulating on these. Now, to get back on topic as I do this, there's a few things that you can have on hand to help you prepared for potential power outage. And in this case, we're talking about winter power outages. Probably the most important thing that you can purchase, and I'll put affiliate links downstairs. Now, I do get a commission if you buy those. I am not affiliated with any of the brands I'm going to link to. They're just examples of what I think will work. An uninterrupted power supply is an electricity source that runs on battery. So what that means is that you could power your filter or you could power your heater for a duration of time. And this can be really important, obviously, if there's a power outage. So, you know, while it may seem like an investment, I think a decent one's around $50 to $70. It really can make or break whether your aquarium survives a profound cold spell during a power outage. You would also want to have some sort of, if your aquariums are located in your main living space, for instance, upstairs in a living room or a kitchen or a bedroom where there's windows, a good idea would be to insulate the windows or the doors so that you're not getting a bunch of cold seepage from that. So putting blankets over your windows or doors, keeping your aquarium away from the windows or doors, and insulating it in that way. And Mylar blankets are really great for that, but in a pinch, bed sheets, towels, really anything can work to help just insulate your home a little bit during an outage. When I've been traveling in like hotels and stuff and have had to heat aquariums without a heater, have even taken heat packs, like 60-hour heat packs, and taped them right to the side. I think the general rule of thumb is about a heat pack of that size per 20 gallons, something like that. Now, it doesn't take the place of a heater, and obviously it's not very controllable, but in a pinch you could do something like put a heat pack, tape to your aquarium, and then insulate it with a Mylar blanket as well, sort of making like a tent around it. And that would hold in a fair amount of heat if you don't have that uninterrupted power supply or UPS in order to power your aquarium. You would also want to feed considerably less because you want to reduce the amount of waste that will be being let out into the aquarium. Right now I'm just siphoning the sand in some key spots to remove the surface debris. This aquarium's been exceptionally low maintenance. And for the most part, everything's going really well in it. So having an uninterrupted power supply, most of them have surge protector as well, is a really great idea. Having some Mylar blankets and maybe like a half a dozen 60-hour to 72-hour heat packs are a good idea. But for the most part, you know, unless your tank is extremely heavily stocked and the cool down is gradual, most critters will make it through just fine. But keeping these few little supplies on hand could really make the difference in a profoundly cold area like New England or something should you have a major outage. Now when I'm vacuuming this tank, I like to hover the vacuum over my tufts of stem plants and crypts to suck out any accumulated debris that may have collected at the bottom of them. If you notice that it's starting to pull your plants, you just pinch the hose and that stops or lessens the suction. This tank has been an exceptionally easy keeper. I do weekly water change of about 30 to 40%. And it does really well, just that little bit of string algae, and really that's it. It doesn't get any algae on the glass. It has very little algae on any of the decor. It just has been super successful, especially for utilizing just a super cheap pool filter sand. I've been really pleased, and I love how it looks, and I can spot clean the sand in between if I need to, if I see areas where there's a bunch of stuff accumulating. Go ahead and let this finish draining, and then we'll fill her back up, wipe down the glass, and feed the fish. Now, if you don't have the money for one of the uninterrupted power supplies, you could get a simple battery-powered bubbler as well. Which would allow you to run an air stone and keep things adequately aerated during the time of outage. I have a whole house generator in case of power outage because obviously I have a huge investment down here in the fish room. But the UPS I'm going to link to, I think, has 8 outlets, which means you could run heaters to a few aquariums, or even have, if you have a small air pump on hand that can run a few tanks, you could use a splitter, some air line, and a few bubblers in order to adequately aerate multiple aquariums should you have more than one. As I'm refilling this tank, I tend to take my refill hose and blow it around over these rocks to get any sand that is accumulated on them off. About every other water change, I wash the sponge on the power head in this aquarium. Now, because I have a well, I don't need to utilize any water conditioner, but if you have city water, you would want to dose this entire tank for the volume before you start your refill or pre-treat your water. I'm very lucky in that I don't have to do that. You can see most of the plants look really good, and the fish look awesome in this aquarium. I probably need to get in here and trim this giant lace plant, and the Blixa down here isn't looking super awesome, but I've never had the best luck with Blixa. Flixa is this plant here. I added some of the Gradiola viscodula. My crypts are looking great. The Anubias are doing great. Again, the fish look amazing. As soon as this is done refilling, we will feed them and take a closer look. I'm going to be feeding Sarah Onip, and I'll put an affiliate link to that one as well. It is a compressed tablet that sticks to the glass. I'll stick one to the glass for the schooling fish, and I'll drop one to the bottom for the Coreodoris. Now, that's not to say that the Coreodoris will be the only ones eating from the bottom, but, you know, that is the intention. Right away, you can see the SV rasboras, the orange fish, and that long, sort of torpedo-shaped fish is a Pyrrolina, or a false splash tetra. Then we have the Lacordae tetras. They're an emperor. See, they have the two different color eyes based on gender. Really beautiful. And then at some point, we will see all of my panda cories come out of the weeds and start munching as well. But I think this aquarium is really successful. I love how all the plants look. I love how the sand looks. I just think it's a good example of how you don't have to use expensive products in order to have a good aquarium. What do you guys do to be prepared for winter outages? Let me know down in the comments. I'm always looking for more ideas. These guys are so cute. As always, it means a lot when you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe to my videos. I appreciate the continued support that you guys have shown me, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing the maintenance routine on this aquarium, as well as talking a little bit about how we can be prepared just in case for winter outages. Now we're just going to enjoy the fish.